please welcome to the stage Lorraine Bracco.
Thank you so much.
And thank you so much for coming. This is quite a thing having you here.
Okay.
So, have you done very many Comic-Cons before?
No, not very many. We were trying to think about this in the car coming over. I guess maybe about...
Nice and close to the mic.
Closer?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe about 8?
Oh, that's good.
Right, maybe.
So I'm going to start off with your role as Karen Hill. I just want to cut right to this because this, to me, it was just totally iconic. And how did you approach playing such a complex character? And what was the most challenging part of bringing Karen to life?
Well, usually as an actor, we kind of try to find people who have had the job, right? So if you're going to play a banker, you go to a bank and the production helps you find people to help you create the role. Or if you're a policeman, you go and you hang around with a lot of policemen. There were not a lot of mafia wives that were interested in talking to me. So that was probably the hardest thing. I had to really work off of Nick Pileggi's book. That was the way I kind of found the heart to Karen Hill.
And so, was there an audition process for this, or did you just walk right into this role? You were so perfect for it.
No, I was very lucky. Marty Scorsese asked me to come up and meet him and Ray Liotta at his apartment, and we just talked, and that was our audition.
The chemistry between you two was so natural. Was that something you had to work much for, or did just you and Ray click?
No, if you ever met Ray, I'm sure all the girls would agree. He's kind of easy to fall in love with. So
was there a lot? I know that some of the scenes were very heated, and was there a lot of improvisation involved, because it was very fast and very furious, a lot of the dialogue between you two?
Yeah, we went at it. I mean, look, we did our homework, so we were ready and prepared, and Marty really helped us in staging, giving us a platform and a trust to do whatever. He felt very much that we were going to bring him a better performance that was not written.
Were you surprised by how big of a blockbuster film it was? When did you know you were making something so incredible? Like at the premiere, watching the dailies? What made you think that such a lasting, timeless film?
I never watched dailies, so that's not me. Honestly, I think I really knew the success of it with its longevity. That was really the telltale to me. Because in the beginning, it wasn't a very successful movie. It made about, I think it was like less than $50 million, and that's not a lot of money in the film business. So yeah, it wasn't a success really. It was a success with the critics and the public, but it didn't do very well in the theaters.
Well, it really stood the test of time. Was there a premiere for the film you remember?
Yeah, there was a film. Yep.
Anything special about it, or watching the reaction of the audience?
Honestly, the only thing I remember is that Giorgio Armani made me a beautiful outfit. Otherwise, I can't remember anything from that night.
So, if you don't mind, I'd like to switch to The Sopranos really quick. You played Dr. Jennifer Melfi. What attracted you to that role, and how did it evolve over the course of the series? It's such an unusual role.
Well, like David Chase sent me the script. I thought it was terrific. I'd been given a lot of mob movie scripts after Sopranos, after Goodfellas, but you know, nothing could compare. And it was, you know, a while after Goodfellas, and my really good friend Sheila Jaffe's a casting agent, and she said, you have to read this script. Please, please. He wants to meet you so badly. Please, please. So I read it, and I was really surprised at how good it was. So I'd already played Karen Hill in Goodfellas. I didn't really want to play Carmela Soprano in this, and I asked David, I don't really want to play Carmela. I know that's who you're interested in me for. And I said, I want to play Dr. Melfi. And he was really surprised. I said, yeah, I love the role of Melfi. I think she's really important. You don't really see a psychiatrist with a mob character. And I thought that they were very intimate. Yeah. It was a very intimate scenes and relationship, and it grew over time. And I always said, I don't know if people are going to want to watch two people sitting in a chair talking to each other, but let's see how it goes.
And being The Sopranos was very groundbreaking. You know, there really wasn't that level of great television on on HBO and all of those pay stations. How was that pitched to you? Like this was going to be something, because it basically is the future of television, what you guys started.
Well, HBO was really up, you know, they were known for what? Boxing, all of their sports, and reruns of movies. And they did, was it The Wire?
The Wire.
The Wire. And they were just putting together and putting it on the air, Sex in the City.
That's right. So
they were really starting to come up with really good scripts, good cast, good work. It wasn't your regular TV, right. 24 minutes, commercials. It was really a new beginning of watching TV. Mm-hmm. So they were smart. They picked Sopranos. It took them a very long time to greenlight. Everyone loved the pilot, but because we shot it in New Jersey and it was so expensive, they weren't really sure they were going to do it. Really? So yeah, there was a lot of, they waited until the last minute before all the actors' deals would have fallen apart before they okayed it. It was really like that week.
Wow. So just one little bit of an odder Sopranos questions. The very ending, your thoughts on how that came about? Were you surprised as everyone else? Was it kept a secret? It basically was jarring.
It was kept a secret, and I watched the last episode, and Jimmy was next to me, and he was like, "That's it? That's it? What? That's it?" He was looking around the room and everyone, "That's it."
Because I know some people actually reported to their cable company that they thought their cable went out.
Yes, it's crazy, right? You know, I got to give it to David Chase. We're still talking about it, so good for him.
I'd like to ask you about your memoir. You wrote a memoir, To the Fullest. What inspired you to write the book, and what was the process like writing about your life experiences, influences, and your career and personal life?
I hated it. I mean, really, when you think about your life and you maybe want to put some notes down, and it's like, yeah, who cares? This is crazy. It was very difficult. was difficult. It was not a lot of fun at all.
sorry
And
to hear.
things would come to me in the middle of the night, and I would have to write them down. Yeah, it was really hard.
About how long did it take for you to?
Oh, a couple years.
Wow.
2, 3, yeah.
So then let's move on to something else. Rizzo and Isles, you showcased your versatility, being kind of tough and empathetic. How did you prepare for the role of Angela Rizzoli and the character you found most enjoyable to play?
I loved shooting. I loved shooting the scenes with the girls. It was like for me the first time I got to act with girls because I'd always been with the boys. So that was kind of fun for me. Yeah, Rizzoli was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
All right, and let's change gears. Let's talk about your cooking, your passion for cooking, Italian culture. How did that influence your acting in general, and are there any Italian traditions that kind of resonate with you?
I'm a big meatball girl. I love a meatball. I'll judge an Italian restaurant by a meatball. I don't know why, but it's true. Yeah, I like to cook. I have 2 girls. I have grandchildren now. You know, we've gone through a lot, like every family. And one of the things that I think always helps people is to sit down, have a meal, and sit at the kitchen table. I mean, I think a lot of really important conversations are made there, and decisions and advice. So the food, yeah, the food is important.
Well, what makes a good meatball then?
Oh, so yeah, white bread.
Really?
Yeah.
Because usually I always thought the more dense meat-wise, the better the meatball.
No, not for me. You know, the 3 different kinds of meat. You know, you have pork and beef and something else I can't remember now. I love when I'm asked these questions and I go blank. But yeah, it's yeah, white bread. It's funny.
Do you make your own meatballs?
Yeah, I love it. Veal. The other meat
Oh,
is
veal, veal.
I'll get there eventually.
How often do you cook?
Yeah,
How often?
I want to say good 2-3 times a week.
Oh, that's good. Well, we're going to get to some questions from the audience, but I got to ask, you've done film, theater, television. Do you prepare any differently for any of those, or does it depend on the role?
No, I prepare kind of the same. You know, you start with what's written, and then how to expand and make a character interesting, little tweaks and cadences. Yeah, and how I feel about certain characters in the, you know, sometimes I like somebody, sometimes I don't really like somebody. Sometimes, you know, I love somebody. It's, you know, it's like life. It's like when you meet somebody, it's the same thing.
So you don't really feel like there's more pressure when you do like a theater performance because it's really of the moment, or are you like that all the way from film and TV?
Well, theater, you just can't forget your lines. You can forget your lines in TV and movies and do it again. Theater, when you go up on your lines, it's not a lot of fun for the other actors.
Well, I want to talk real quick about the Dream Team. Doing comedy. Did you prefer doing that to serious roles? It just seemed like it was more fun.
Well, there's nothing more fun than being in a movie than with Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is so great. He's so funny. He's so alive and witty and bright and quick. And so that was a lot of fun for me. Yeah, very different, you know, working with a Michael Keaton and working with a Jimmy Gandolfini. I mean, you're talking night and day.
So when you were doing a comedy, were you guys able to kind of relax more and improvise a little bit, or it's still stuck to a script just like anything else?
You know, every scene is different. Sometimes something will come to you and you'll throw it in there and it'll work or it won't work, or the director will love it and build on it, or he'll say, no, I don't like that, or, you know, and you do several takes, so it depends. Every take is alive, so there's no rules, kind of.
Would you mind getting some questions from the audience? All right, we'll start on this side of the room. Raise your hand if you got a question. And thank you for coming and doing this, too. Let's get some questions. Okay. Nice and loud.
Yeah, thank you again for coming to Pittsburgh. We really appreciate it. You were mentioning some of the different roles, like you played Karen Hill, you had a book to fall back on, but when you played Dr. Melfi in The Sopranos, that character evolved, and especially like where she was attacked at one time and she thought about talking to Tony but didn't, you know, she stayed professional. Can you tell me how did you feel that you helped direct the character a little bit, or was it all in the writer's hands? And how did you feel being part of the evolution of Dr. Melfi?
So, every word that David Chase and the writers wrote for Sopranos was said. There was no improvs. What David wrote, he had writers, right? And he would go through their scripts and he would sign off on them. And basically, that is, there was no deviation from the script. And I loved Dr. Melfi. I thought she was really smart the way she handled him. And yes, they evolved. I mean, when you know somebody for several years, your relationship changes. It gets deeper. And once he got over the fascination of he wanted to kiss me, which I, of course, loved, you know, I think we got down to things that really helped him see himself, and all the issues with his mom. I think that was imperative, you know, for him to look at, and his dad. Yeah. I don't know what more to tell you.
Next question, please.
Hi, I was wondering about how the character of Gloria Trillo was written. I suffer from mental illness, and I'm pretty sure that I have the same mental illness that she was written around, but the show's never explicit about it. And I was just wondering if, like, as you know, you interacted with her a lot on the show, if anybody told you this is what she's dealing with.
Was she the character who threw the steak at him?
She was just highly emotional.
But she's
yes,
the one. Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently that's a true story. From the writer Terry Winter, that happened to him. So basically, that character was really kind of his. I think part of him, part of his romantic relationships. And I didn't have that much to do with her. She's a great girl, Annabella. I love her. We're great pals. But in this series, I don't know. I tried.
Okay, next question.
Hi, Lorraine. Love your work. I loved your brief appearance on Blue Buds.
Okay.
I was hoping that you and the commissioner were going to get together. Any chance that you might be back for the final year?
Not that I know of. But he's a great guy, Tom Selleck. He's a great guy.
Okay, let's get a question right here.
Hi,
Hello,
Andrew.
All right, hello, Lorraine. Wonderful to see you. I just want to say, just before I get to my two-part question, I want to thank you for all the roles you played: Karen in Goodfellas, The Basketball Diaries, Riding in Cars with Boys, but most importantly, my favorite character from Pinocchio, Sophia the Seagull. So my two-part question for you is, what inspired you to go into both theater and acting in the first place, And what is it that you enjoy about both theater, acting, and voice acting?
Well, I don't really separate them except for the fact that, you know, you're on a live, with a live audience in the theater. But it's, you know, I think a lot of actors attack a role the same way they do no matter what. They find a backstory that they work with, where they were born, who's their parents, what schools they went to. You kind of make a little bit of a biography. And you do that for every character. So whatever, you know, whatever life I've created for those characters, I don't think I did one for the seagull, though. I kind of, but yeah, you make a biography of these characters, and you use elements of the script, of what was been written. You put that in there. Why would she, you know, why would she react in a certain way? You know, it's complicated. It's not like you learn lines and you walk out and, you know, you go in front of a film crew. It's complicated.
All right, question right here.
Hi there. I want to know, did you find Joe Pesci a funny guy? Did he amuse you? And could you tell me about your experience in the movie Sing?
Oh, wow. Okay. So Joe Pesci is a very, very, very fucking funny guy. Period. He is so much fun. He's got a sense of humor. I mean, he would have us crying on the set, laughing. So yes. And Sing, really? Sing. Well, we filmed it in, the things that I remember is we filmed it in Toronto, and it was like 10 below zero, and we were outside, and that was difficult. It was like one of my first movies, really. I loved Patti LaBelle. She was a powerhouse. She is a rock star and a beautiful, beautiful human being. So that was fun for me. She cooked for me, yes. I don't know if she cooked for me in Toronto, but after I've been to her apartment and to her house and stuff. So yeah, she's a great girl. Great.
And a question right here.
Hi, thanks for coming out to Pitt. When you were making The Sopranos, when did you realize that it was something special? Because in my humble opinion, it's the best TV show ever.
Thank you. I realized that it was really big when people in the street would say, "Hey, Doc." They left, it used to be Karen, and all of a sudden it was, "Hey, Doc." That was fun.
Okay, question over here, then we'll go to the other side of the room.
Hi, this is another question about Dr. Melfi and the greatest show that was ever made. I probably watched Sopranos all the way through probably about 5 times. But the first time I watched it, I remember being very disappointed that Dr. Melfi cut Tony off at the end there. And then watching it the second time, I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, this does make sense for her character. How did you feel about that? Because it is really abrupt when she comes to that conclusion, right? That she's just helping him be a better mob boss.
Yeah.
So how did you feel about that? Do you think she made the right call?
It's a good question. Yeah, I think she fought with it. I mean, I did. I was like, oh, you know, what are they going to write next week? You know, how else am I going to help him kill people? You know, and there was the rule, too. I say to him, I believe, you know, if you tell me that you're going to do anything, I can't treat you and I have to report you. That's, you know, that's the way therapy, you know, works and is very specific. We have rules as a psychiatrist. Yeah, did I make him a better gangster? I'm asking you, what do you
Yeah, I
think?
think so. Yeah, I think so.
You think so? I was hoping I made him a better parent.
Oh, there you go.
I tried.
Let's get a question from the other side of the room. We'll get that. Then over here.
How often did you look forward to Tony as a patient?
Where the hell
Over
are
here,
you?
right over here. Stand up, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Hello.
Did you always look forward to having Tony's therapy sessions when you saw on your schedule that he was scheduled to come in? And what was it like working with James Gandolfini on a daily basis?
Well, I worked, we had episodes and they were very often 15, 16-day episodes, which is very rare. It's very long, because it was really filmed more like a movie. And I'm going to tell you things that Jimmy said to me. I would come into work, and I would be relaxed and tan and in a dress and whatever. I was all happy. And he was, Tony Soprano, miserable in his life as a mob boss, and sometimes miserable with Carmela and the kids. And he would say, he picked me up one day, and the makeup artist literally picked me up and said, "Who fucking died and gave you this job?" I worked one day an episode. I did not have to learn 4 or 5 pages of dialogue, which he had to do because he was the precursor. He was the one who tells the story. I just listened. So when he would see me come in, he would be like, "Do I know all my lines?" He was really annoyed with me. And I said, "I don't write this shit. So don't be mad at me."
You have a question down front, right?
But I will tell you, working with James Gandolfini has been a highlight of my career. Of course. Of course.
All right. Next question.
How do you feel about the Sopranos legacy over 20 years later? Do you think all the episodes are still relevant? Do you think that they still hold up? Do you think, like, are you so impressed with the fandom, the new generations of Sopranos fans that have come years after it originally aired?
You know, I'll admit to you, I have not seen all the episodes, so I can't answer you. But what has absolutely been stunning, flooring, exciting is you. You people have made this series so worthwhile to me. I love hearing from you people. It's so much fun. People come up to me and tell me what their favorite episode was, their favorite line, so many things, that it's really you that have kept it alive. I'll admit that the pandemic, COVID, brought a lot of parents and their kids together to watch the show, and that has been really incredible, the cross generations, and the fact that they all say it's held up. So for me, it was an extraordinary pleasure to be able to work with Jimmy. Most of my scenes were with Jimmy, and that was, an incredible experience. He's a hell of an actor. He's as good as they get. But it's you, the fans of the show, that have kept this alive and thrilling. Really, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And there's another question on the front row on the far side.
Hi again,
Hey.
Lorraine.
Hi.
So we all know that you hold Italy and Sicily pretty dear to your heart and that it means a lot to you. I like to travel. It's somewhere I plan on going very soon. Is there anywhere over there that you consider really special, that holds a really special place in your heart?
Well, Italy is kind of fabulous. It's got the best food ever. But I did do this €1 house in Sicily, which was a lot of fun. My father's family was from Palermo, and I think one of the best places that I love in Sicily is a little town called Memphis. And it's on the ocean, it's on the Mediterranean, and it's tiny. It's nothing big, but they have great restaurants, and the Italians are fun. They're just fun people. They really are.
Okay, we have a question. Actually, 3 in a row. Let's do these 3. Here you go. Let me sit next to you.
Well, I was always concerned that a minority group was pictured in the movies as being violent or evil or whatever, whether the minority group is black or Hispanic or Italian or Polish or whatever. And I was wondering if you received any backlash for being Italian.
Yes, we had a lot of backlash. A lot of Italian Americans were really insulted. And there was a lot of things that David Chase had to deal with. I personally just went to my father and I said, "Are you embarrassed? Does this offend you?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Lorraine, it's a TV show." I said, "Okay, thanks, Dad." And I let it go. So, yes, people had issues. Yes, absolutely. Everyone was offended. It was equal offended from the get-go to the end. Yeah.
Question right next to me.
I think it's interesting. I don't know of any other character like this where what's it like to be a part of a show that's so important, but you're only involved with 90% of your scenes are just with one actor. Did you have a relationship with any other people on the cast at all?
Oh, yeah. We were a big family. We did a lot of great things. First of all, we had all of the Emmys and Golden Globes and Peabody Awards. I mean, we had a lot of great things that we all shared together. Tony Sirico was in Goodfellas. Michael Imperioli was in Goodfellas. So we've had a long relationship, even though I didn't have any scenes with them. But again, yeah, I would say still today, if I had to make a phone call and say I need somebody, any of those guys would show up for me.
All right, we got time for one last question. You're headed back to your table to sign after this?
Okay.
Okay, so you're headed back to your table. If you haven't had chance...
I do what I'm told.
Well, we have one more question. We'd like to thank you so much for coming out.
Thank
and
you.
This is so awesome having you.
Thank you.
One final question, then she's off to her table.
I hope it's
Make it good. It's
Make
the
it
last
good.
one.
Okay. So I hope it wasn't asked already. I got here a little bit late, but I watched Sopranos for years, only to be really, unfortunately, disappointed with the ending. And I wanted to know, what is your interpretation of the ending? Well, how does it end? Does Tony get killed, or how would you interpret that ending?
Okay, so you are not the only one who has been disappointed with that ending, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Let's make it clear. I think he lives.
Yep.
I do. I think they had a nice meal and some ice cream, and Meadow didn't, get into a car accident, and they're home fine. I don't care.
Well, thank you so much for coming out and doing this. Lorraine Bracco! Such an honor. Thank you. Excellent.